checking to make sure that I am live. And I know this is an impromptu live, but I'm just checking to see. I wanted to go live for a couple of days now, and just haven't had a chance. It's been a busy month and 2 weeks. God, it's hard to believe we're already in February already. And I'm just trying to see if I can see myself live over on my other screen here, because I do show live up here. But last time I did this, people said they couldn't see the video part. They could hear me, but they couldn't see the video. So I want to make sure that this is all working before I start creating. Hopefully everyone's having a beautiful Saturday today, and that your day has gone well. Just see if I can see. Okay. Nope, that's not showing me there either. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, you can see my desktop. Okay, it looks like we are live. I got to the right spot. Everything looks good now. All right. Well, hello everyone. It's been a while, like I said, and I really wanted to talk. Let me get the volume down on that. I really wanted to put this layout together. I've actually had this layout sitting on my desk, probably since the second week in January, when I got the paper pumpkin kit. So the paper pumpkin kit came, and it is definitely a heart themed kit. Valentine's Day themed. And the cards are very cute. I actually did create the cards, one set of each of the cards. And I sent one off to my daughter actually this week for Valentine's. But I thought that I could take this kit and also turn it into a layout that would be really fun. And so what I did is I did create a sketch that I'm calling the Floating Hearts sketch. It's not that complex, but it is using a lot of the pieces of the paper pumpkin kit. And then I've also pulled in something that was on sale just recently. This is out of stock now, but if you have this from last year, it's the Most Adored 12 by 12 DSP. And this was last year's Valentine's Day paper pack from Stampin' Up. And so on one side, it has this beautiful gold foiled papers, which could be used for almost anything. And then on the other side, you've got a combination of a red and a pink, and again, another pink version. And then I think, there's another plaid here. So this is the other plaid. So you've got some of these pink plaids, and then you've got the red plaid. I'm just double checking that I'm not missing a color. I'm not. So a lot of pinks in this one. I chose to use the red. Oh, there's also this heart, which I made some cards with. So this is the other paper pack that I used, and this is, colors are Flirty Flamingo, Real Red, and Gold are the primary colors here. So I use this as an additional piece of paper, but again, you don't necessarily have to do this. You could just use the things that you have in the paper pumpkin kit. So I'm going to just set that paper off to the side over here. The other thing that I did use was the companion die cut set that is part of the Paper Pumpkin subscription. So if you have a Paper Pumpkin subscription, you can buy these additional dies that go with the Paper Pumpkin subscription. And this is Spring is in the Air. And it has a heart, this very large heart with the scallop edge, which I really, really like. And then it's got other dies that are going to coordinate with the next kit, which is coming out. So this die here coordinated with the kit we got in um, in December. Was it December? Is that right? February, August, yeah, or February, March, yeah. So this die coordinated with that. The bee die and the honeycomb die is going to coordinate with the next month's kit, which is coming out here pretty soon. And then obviously the heart die coordinates with the February, or the this was actually considered the January kit. So hopefully that wasn't confusing. So these dies are coordinating dies that if you have a Paper Pumpkin subscription, you can add these on. So I thought that one would work really well. As part of Celebration, there is this heart-shaped die set that has a stamp as well as a set of dies. So if you purchase $120 worth of items, you could get the die and the stamp set for free. So this is part of Celebration, and this has, again, this beautiful heart die that creates this really pretty leaf die cut out of it. And then you've got a few other dies as part of this that go with the flowers and the leaves, and then for the sentiments here. So I use that. Another thing that actually got added to Celebration this week is this stamp set, or this sorry, not stamp, but this this punch. And this punch is also on the Celebration page now. So if you have a $60 order, you can get this punch. And even though these are supposed to be used as wings, they are actually hearts. So I also use that to use get some smaller hearts that I didn't have in the stash that I can use on this particular layout. And then the last thing is, if you had the Close to My Heart dies still in your stash, this one is the basic hearts die cuts. We had a bunch of heart dies that came along probably every February. This one doesn't have any stitching or anything on it. I think we had one that had stitching. But anyway, these are another set. If you've got these in your stash, would also be really good to use for this. And I did use some of those to create a bunch of smaller heart shapes that I can add to this layout. I'm not sure how many of them I'm going to need, but I figured I'd have them all cut out and ready to go so that we could use these on this layout as we're putting it together. All right, so I'm going to just move a couple of these things off to the side here so that I don't have them in my way. And we're going to talk a little bit about this, what's in this kit. So this kit has envelopes that have this nice stripe on it. And then we've got a bunch of envelopes that you could use for a layout. You can cut these apart. These would make nice tags, etc. There are these like heart cards. Again, you could cut this out or you could use this directly on the layout. There is an overlay of gold, which we might end up using. Again, the stamp set. We've got some banners that you can use to stamp on. This goes on top. There's little punch outs here that you can punch out again to use. We've got a bunch of really great goldish, they're not quite fully gold, they're like not a bright gold, they're more of a muted gold. I'm not sure what they're calling this. Champagne is what they're calling this. So all of these beautiful hearts in love. And then there's dies that you can punch out for larger hearts, so we'll probably be using those. I did already punch out a bunch of the dies already. This one, you can kind of see, I think that it has some gold foil on top of it, so I've punched those out. Then we've got, again, some more flags or banners. And then we have a bunch of hearts that are to make up that one card. So you would punch out all of these hearts and run them across the top of the card. So we have a bunch of those hearts. And then we've got our card bases. So this, we've got the card base for this card here and a card base for the hearts layering across. So again, some really good pieces that we can use, and I've pretty much used this piece plus the card bases from this card here. So I've used the 2 card bases. I've cut this down, and I'll show you that in a minute. And I have then used a lot of the embellishments. So when we look at the sketch, again, the sketch is really, really straightforward. It's not that complicated. We've got some cardstock down here or patterned paper down here. We've got a strip here and here. This strip is a little bit wider than this strip. And then we've got the another card base in this case, or you could use cardstock or another patterned paper. And then we've got the hearts, etc. So it's a very, very simple layout, but I think it's going to give you enough places to put Valentine's pictures on it, or any kind of pictures that you want to have that you're using hearts for. Again, you could use this for something other than hearts. You don't have to use this for hearts. It just happened to work with my particular idea for this. And you do get, a good number of photos on this. I got 2 4x6s and a 3x4 and a 3x3. Again, you can play with that. You could add more if you wanted to, or add flip flaps to this as well. All right, so cleaning this up, we will bring over my Versamats, and I can start showing you how I've laid this out. All right, so we're just going to put this off to the side here, and I'm going to just move a couple of things around, and we're going to bring in our mats, or my Versamat, and just make sure that I get everything on camera. Looks like we're a little crooked today. Let me see if I can straighten myself out just a smidge. I'm not sure. I have to wait for the thing to catch up to me here. Hopefully it's not too off center or too crooked. That looks like I made it worse. Okay, we're gonna twist it back just a smidge and see if we can make that work. All right, so I have already kind of done a dry layout of this, and you can see some of the pieces here. So here are some of my photo mats, and we'll put those off to the side, and let me just show you the pieces that I'm using. So again, the card base, this is the card base. I've cut this, and this is a 1/2 inch by 8.5. So this is a 1/2 inch wide by 8.5. That's the strip that's going to go on top. This is the full card base with that beautiful marbled paper. Now, if you don't have this kit and you have the old DSP, you could certainly, this DSP here, that is the pink marbled paper, I'm just going to pull this out. You could substitute this for this, right? Again, and you could also go with a red from the new colors as well, the new DSP for Valentine's Day. But again, this is just the full card base. So this is 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, so that's going to go down here. Then I've got another strip of that card base that's the red stripe. And again, that's an 8.5, but this is 3/4 inch. So that's that piece. And then I have those heart punch outs that were part of that card. So we're going to be using these. So I've got a couple of those heart punch outs. And then I've used some of the die cuts from the kit over here. So we've got a couple of these die cuts. I've got some little small hearts. I'm afraid I'm going to lose this heart, so I'm going to move that. That we might use, again, bringing in some of the gold into this. And then I've got one of the tags that we can use. Okay, so I'm going to just sort of move these off, and I've die cut out a few other hearts just so that we can play around with those and see what we like. Okay, so I'm going to take these guys off. I'm going to move everything off here. And what I want to do is I'm going to bring in this heart, this falling heart paper. Okay, this paper has sort of a top and a bottom with the hearts. And what I thought I'd want to do with this is I want to create this down at the bottom. And I really liked the idea of having these hearts here at the bottom, and that I could create this visual interest down here. Hopefully you're able to see that. And then these pieces are going to lay on top of that, with the hearts being the transition. So these hearts acting as the transition between these two pieces. And then we will add in all of our other elements. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece of paper, this DSP here. So I'm going to move all of this. So I'm going to end up taking both the top and the bottom, and the center section is going to come out. And I think what I want it to be, I'm going to just double check how wide I want this, but I think I want this at 3 inches, maybe 2.5. I think I'm going to do, sorry, I didn't write down my measurements before we started, so I don't remember exactly what I wanted, but I think 3 is too much. I think 2.5 is going to be just right. So we're going to trim this to 2.5 on each side. We're going to take this one piece of paper and use each end to create that strip along the bottom. So again, we've got the hearts here, and we're going to flip this guy over, and we're going to do the same thing, 2.5. And again, the sketch is to give you kind of an idea to work from, and you can pull from that and decide what you want to do with it. So now I've got this piece that I can use in the future for something else. This is still got a lot of useful applications for it, but I won't be using the rest of that for this particular layout. All right, so we're going to bring in our white cardstock again. Make sure I'm on camera here. And we are going to add this to the bottom. So I need to grab my... And I decided I wanted to use the gold because I wanted to add that touch of gold that's from the Paper Pumpkin kit to this, and use some of the gold pieces that were part of the Paper Pumpkin kit. And I just thought this was a great tie-in for that. And so that was why I went with this. Okay, so we're going to take the larger of our strips, the wider one, the one that's 3/4 of an inch, and we're just going to butt that right up against the heart foil paper and right up against the right hand side. Then we're going to take our marbled card base, and we are going to add that right on top of that and butt it right up against the edge here. Hopefully we can get it straight. I'm not sure why I'm getting so many emails today on Saturday. Has been a busy work couple of days. So, but it's a little late in the day to be getting a bunch of emails. But that's the dinging you hear in the background. All right, so there we go. There's that. And then we're going to take our 1/2 inch card base that we cut, and we're going to layer that right on top of that last piece. So again, really simple layout, really simple design, but again, it's using a lot of the pieces from this this Paper Pumpkin kit and giving us a lot of dimension with with that, but we have a lot of white space, so it doesn't make it too busy for the eye. All right, so then we've got these hearts. Now these hearts are really, really nice, but the problem is that they don't really stand out, right? They kind of fade here at the bottom, and because it's white on white over here, they're not really standing out. So what I want to do is I actually want to add a little bit of color to it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, oops, I forgot we got these really cute hearts as part of the embellishments in the paper pumpkin kit. So I'm going to grab all of my heart pieces here. And what I want to do is I want to add some color to them. And I'm going to choose to do the Flirty Flamingo because I've got the red here and I've got the gold there. So I really think that the Flirty Flamingo will be a nice transition and a nice way to add some color to this. So I'm just trying to find one of my brushes that I can use that is in the pink family, so that I don't mess them up too much. All right, I think we'll take this guy. All right, so I just have a brush that I'm going to use, and we're going to just lightly go in, and actually I'm going to get a piece of scratch paper as well. There we go, because I want to tap off. Whenever I do any inking, I want to make sure that I'm tapping off, because I want to make sure that I don't have too much ink on my brush before I go on to my project. Reason being is you can always add more ink. You can't take away ink. So it's really important that when you work with doing these techniques and you're adding color, you want to start light and then work up, build up the color. Because if you don't, what will happen is you'll end up with this really dark splotch. And that's also why you'd go in circles, is this will allow you to press lightly and get color from the brush to the paper, but not add too much streakiness to the project. And these brushes, whether you have the old Close to My Heart ones, or if you have ones from another vendor, or even from Stampin' Up, they hold quite a bit of ink. So it's, you don't need, you can go over it and it will build up the color, and then you can test it out and see if you have enough color, if you're happy with the color on this. And I think I want a bit more on the bottom because I feel like it's a little too light. And I might come in. These brushes aren't good for edging per se. These are better for blending. Usually I'll use a foam dauber for edging, but let's just see if we can get, I feel like it's a little too pinky. It's not giving me, even though I know this is, I'm pretty sure this was Flamingo on this one. Let me just double check on my, where did I put it? That happened to you when you're working on things where you lose what you were working on? I want to just double check my colors because I just feel like this is not light. This is Flirty Flamingo, Petal Pink, Real Red. Petal Pink probably would have been Petal Pink. That's not one of the colors I've gotten yet. So I think what we might do, let's see, let's test out some Melon Mambo. I have extra ones of these, so I'm gonna play around a little bit, and I'm gonna see if I can get a better color. I can use this on something else for this. And also the Stampin' Up! Pads are so juicy that you have to be really careful that you're not getting too much ink on on these brushes as you're working with them. As you can see, when I tap off, you see how heavy that is? You just have to be super careful that you're not getting too much ink, because you may go way beyond what you want from a color perspective. All right, let's see if we like that any better. No, I'm not liking that either. Okay, one more chance. Let's try the real red. You guys tell me, which one do you think you like? We're experimenting a little bit here. I didn't play with this before I started because I thought I knew the color I wanted to work. Okay, so we're gonna just grab, we can use the same one and just wipe it off. We're gonna go into the real red and we're gonna add that. Don't want too much again, so that's why I'm tapping off. And again, I'm layering colors, so it's going to look a little bit, just took one color, but I'm just playing around trying to see which thing I like best. Okay. So again, I've got a bit of a gradient going on, if you guys can see that. I've got a bit of a gradient going on. Still not my favorite. Okay. Let's see. Let's flip this over and let's just do the red and see if we like that. If I like that, just without having all that other color on it. And we may go back and we may just say, you know what? I might just not do a color on these at all. Which is also an option. I feel like I need a little bit more color at the bottom. Whoops, forgot to tap off. I got way too much on that. So now we got to add a little bit more to make up for that mistake. All right, let's take that and see if we like that any better. Sorry, I'm just thinking here. So I have a gold pen. I'm going to try one other thing with this before we commit to red is the best option, because I think that this color is not, I think that color really is more of the petal pink color. And so I want to use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try to outline this in gold. Let's see if I can do that to see if that helps. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking my gold pen and I'm running along the edge here. I'm not trying to get too thick of a line. I'm just trying to get a little bit of a line. Again, this will tie into the gold that's on the paper below and maybe give us the separation that we need to make this. Oops, I got a little bit thick there. Again, no mistakes. These are happy accidents, right? No one but you and I will know that I didn't have a plan for this, or that it wasn't supposed to look this way. And I'm probably being more critical about the color than anyone is going to ever notice on my layout. We get stuck in perfection versus just taking it and running with it. And I know that for me, that's something that I do tend to run into. So I'm going to just the other side and go around the top here to finish this off. I decide I like this. I'm not going to make you guys sit through doing this on all of the hearts, because that would put everybody to sleep. But this is actually looking a little bit better. Hopefully everyone is seeing what I'm doing here, but this to me with the red and the gold outline. So I'm hoping when I put it down on the layout, it looks a little bit closer to what I had in my head. And remember, we go through this and we have these ideas in our head, and sometimes we have to play around with them a little bit to get them to work out. It's better. It's better. It's not quite perfect, but it's better. So I think we'll go with that, and we will keep with the red and using the red. So let's finish this up. Again, tapping off, making sure that I'm getting just a little bit of ink on here, and I'm going to add a little bit of ink, a little bit more ink to the bottom of the hearts than I am to the top. Again, red and pink are in the same family, so that's why it's a pinky look. So did anyone do anything special for Valentine's Day? Anyone have any Valentine's Day traditions that they have in their families? My husband is a little bit of a sweetheart when it comes to Valentine's Day. Not my favorite holiday, to be honest. I necessarily feel like it's I'm not a flowers person, I guess. I don't care to have flowers in my house, and they're not sort of that's not my thing. But my husband over the years has made it a special day for me. He always gets me roses and chocolates, and oops, that was a little heavy. He sets up the dining room table and creates, this little vignette of flowers and chocolates, and he really kind of goes all out for the day. And when I have two daughters, as some of you might know, and so he used to also get them little mini bouquets and their own card and their own little set of set up the whole kitchen table with these 3 bouquets, and really kind of make them feel special on the day, on Valentine's Day. So anyway, it's this whole tradition, and so this is one of those things where I like to have a layout for each year. Years ago, I kind of took the past years and I put them all on one layout. Like I did like a timeline layout of the years for the past 7 years, I think I did. Anyway, it turned out really cute. So this layout is really the layout for 2025. Still hard to believe it's 2025. So when I saw this kit, I was really excited because I knew that I would have pictures to put on this, and there are not that many pictures. Like how many pictures can you take of a kitchen table with flowers and candy on it, right? There's only so many pictures. Sketch that I created, to me, that gave me enough that I could have the pictures, but not so much that I needed to have a bigger layout or a layout that had more pictures on it. All right, so I've just kind of cleaned up my all-purpose mat there, and we'll put these guys away here. And I'm going to go ahead and outline a couple of these so that we can do the left side of the layout. One done. Where did it go? Did I lose it already? How did I lose it? One of these I thought had ink on them. Okay, I might have dropped it. So again, I'm just taking a gold pen and running it along the edge here. So it's not very, oops. Try not to get too sloppy. I'm trying to go too fast. Need to slow down. Just trying to add a little bit of that gold to this, which I know is not quite the same gold. It's a champagne, but because I've got gold down here on this heart, I think it'll all work fine together. So anyway, back to my story. So anyway, I'll have my one daughter's at college, and so he ordered flowers to be delivered to her next week, and so hopefully she'll send me a picture of those so that I can add it to this layout, and then we'll have 2 bouquets here at the house, one for me and one for my other daughter, and that will complete the layout. So if I need, like I said, if I need some extras, if I happen to have extra pictures, I'll probably add some flip flaps to this, but probably won't have that many. We don't go through like a big reveal or, big opening the cards kind of thing. So it's not that kind. It's just the presentation that he spends his time doing every year. And since I've been working at home, he has to get a little bit more stealth about it over the last few years because I'm here all the time. So it used to be that I would come home from work and it would be all set up on the table. He would make sure he got home before I did and get up on the table. So that's the story of what this layout is going to end up being once I get the pictures together for it. All right, so we're going to just do this one. And again, I have no idea what happened. I know I had one that was already inked up. It's probably flipped over. Did I flip it over? Because one of these, it's got to be this one. That one. There we go. Okay. Just happened to flip it over. All right. So here we go. Let's just get through this and we can do the assembly. This is, again, not a very complicated one from an assembly perspective. And then doing the dies, embellishments is really the most prep that you're going to have to do on this layout, because the cutting is very, very minimal on here. Oops, got a little bit too wild on that. All right. Almost done, almost done. Love to hear any Valentine's Day stories that you guys have, any traditions. That would be cool. It's always nice to hear what other people do. Because, Valentine's Day is kind of one of those weird holidays. Sometimes feels a little bit forced. But again, if you can figure out how to make it your own and make it important to you and to your family. Oops, I've lost a light. Let me plug that light in. Colors is not too bad, luckily. I still have enough light in my room, but let me see what's going on. Why this one's not. There we go. Okay. All right, so I got 3 of these inked up, and hold it up just so that you can kind of see that I got the edging, the gold edging on there. So they're all inked. I've got the gold edging on 3 of them, and then I'll do the gold edging on the others before I do the final assembly on the right-hand side. All right. Oop. This light just doesn't want to stay on. We'll see if it'll stay on or not. Hopefully now it's going to die again. Okay, well, it doesn't look like the shadow is too bad. Maybe I'll try this other light. See if that one helps. No, that's giving me more shadow. I don't want that. This one doesn't give me shadow, but it's not as bad. All right. Okay, so this is all adhered down. So now we're going to take our hearts and we are going to add those along the bottom here. You could pop these up if you wanted to create some separation or dimension. That would be another option, and would look good too. So you're going to need obviously 12 inches. So I'm going to have to cut one of the 3 strips to get the last few hearts. So we're going to adhere this down, and then we'll turn over the layout. I think I need adhesive right there. And then we'll cut this off here. So I always go to the back side when I want to cut something, because then I can follow it as a guide. The piece of paper. So then we'll use this on the other side of the layout. All right, so now that we've got that in place, we are going to start with our embellishments. So bringing back in our layout that we're working from, I've got a big title up here, and then I've got my two pictures. So I'm going to lay those out first before I get to my title. And I am going to pop these up on 3D foam tape. Do I have, where did it go? Again, you know, the things you think you have right in front of you, and then you lose them as soon as you turn on the camera or you start working on the project. And I can't seem to find it. Okay, so I guess we'll use our Stampin' Dimensionals, because that's what I have handy here. Okay, so I'm going to add a bunch of dimensionals to this because I want this to be able to withstand any pressure from it being in an album. So we'll add those in. I have asked multiple times already of Stampin' Up! To add foam tape. They do have foam strips, but they don't really work well for me. So I really want us to get foam tape back, if at all possible, because I do miss it. This squares, taking off all of these little backers is really annoying to me to have to deal with, and they create a mess. More of a mess than I normally make, because I make a pretty good mess while I'm scrapbooking. My floor is usually riddled with pieces of paper and things that just seem to end up on the ground, even though I don't know how they got there. But again, I have a fairly small space, so it's not always easy to keep it organized or neat when I'm crafting. All right, so I'm coming in about 1/8 of an inch from that left-hand side. I'm not pushing down too hard because if I need to move this, I want to be able to pick it up. So I've just sort of lightly placed it there in case I want to pick it up and shift it a little bit. And my title is going to be pretty simple. I'm actually just going to use the love, I think, from the kit, because I think that's a great sentiment for this layout. which is always nice when the embellishments or the pieces that you're given in a kit, you can use those titles and not have to make your own title. Because I know for me, making my own titles, I am not great at it. All right, so again, I'm going to come about 1/8 of an inch in from the right, and I want to have a little bit of this pink. I want to have a little bit of space between this strip and where that is, so I'm coming kind of very close down to where these hearts are. And so now we're going to take a look at our pieces, and my thought is I really wanted this red heart here, and then I'm going to look at laying out some of these other hearts. So let's see. I think we want to have that one. And then again, like I said, I punched out a bunch of different shape size hearts out of, in this case, peach close to my heart paper, and then the plaid that was part of that DSP. So I thought the plaid would be a nice add, having a little bit of lightness, and the peach close to my heart paper goes really well with this. So again, I'm trying to create a cluster with these pieces and having them kind of all go up the side of this. Can't get my fingers around that one. That one might be a little bit big. We might, let's see. No, I don't think that works. So I want to grab some of these other ones. Here are some of these smaller ones. And I will say that this is probably one of the areas where I struggle is doing clusters. I don't know if anyone else has that struggle, but it's definitely a struggle of mine doing clusters. I think what we'll do is something like that. Maybe like that. I'm kind of liking having that piece there. Bring that in. And I might have to die cut a few more pieces here. And then by adding some of these smaller ones kind of floating up like so. And maybe, oops, dropped one. Okay. All right. I think that works. And then my thought was that, and then I want to grab the love. Oh, I do have some hearts here too. So I've got some of these hearts. I might add these in. So my thought was this love could go across the top of that. So again, this I'm thinking I want to have on the top of this. All right, so before I adhere that down and make a mess of it, I'm going to pop this up on my squares here. And then we can adhere down the leafy heart on top of it, and then add the love on top of that. Okay. Try and center that as best you can. All right, so then let's add some adhesive to this. All right. Gently lift that up because this is pretty delicate. set that down. And then this is pretty sticky, so just want to do this carefully. All right. Okay. That's the title, and then we can start adhering down these other pieces here. So, one of the things that I saw that would have been a great trick for this is for me to get my press and seal and add that to my press and put my press and seal down, and that way I could have easily put all of these down at one time. So, but we'll just start adhering and hopefully everything will go well. And then the other side's going to go together essentially the same way. I'm going to take these two off. We're going to adhere this guy down first. Again, it's a small thing, so I want to use my all-purpose mat here so the adhesive is easy to come off of. If you have a silicone mat from Stampin' Up, you can do the same thing. Okay, so we want to make sure we're touching over here and that we don't have hearts just kind of floating. We're going to add some dimensionals on this one, on this heart, make it pop up a little bit to give it some dimension. And if anyone has questions, let me know anything about the kit that I'm using if you just joined, or the what did I call it? The sketch that I created for this. Happy to answer questions. Okay, so we're going to actually add a dimensional to this as well, down there. I think I want that there. Okay. Trying to get some balance with my three colors here, or my my sort of three-ish colors, like that. Okay, so this one I think we won't pop this guy up. We'll kind of go like that, and then sorry if I'm a little bit off camera here. I think we'll pop this guy, these other two up. Again, this is all preference based. Whatever, some people like dimension on their layouts and some other people don't like dimensions. So it's really, I actually want to come over here a little bit. I want to have these guys touching a little bit on that. Again, I want them to feel like they're floating, but I also don't want them to be kind of not associated with the rest of the layout. So it's kind of a balance that I'm trying to go for here. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to do a few more on the other side. Maybe what we'll do is we'll put this guy up here and then we'll add these guys a little bit closer. Anyone else have problems with the balance or doing clusters? I always wonder. Sometimes I know people say they do, but there's so many people that do such a good job with the clusters that I always wonder, is it just me that has a hard time with it? That's too much in the line. I don't want it to be quite so linear. I want it to feel less linear. That's my other problem, is I tend to think in lines, and so my when I'm creating things, so I'm gonna take my punch and I'm actually gonna punch from the from the bee punch. I don't know, I didn't label this one. I'm going to punch out some more of the little hearts because I feel like I need a few more little guys. And the punch is actually really nice because I can get into those small spaces and I can punch out a few more hearts that are the tiny hearts. So these are just my scraps from the other things that I punched out. So add a few more of those. And we'll see how that looks. That feels like enough. Really now it's about how does it feel more than anything else. Like does this feel like these are enough hearts to convey the feeling that I was looking for. So that's kind of what I'm going for now, is just my own little internal. I think I need a pink one or a peach one instead. Here. Oops, got a bunch of adhesive on that guy. Again, I'm trying to get these to be related to each other. And right now they're not kind of feeling that way. Maybe like that. Okay. I think that's pretty good. And then what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to probably add a stitch line or a line across here just to finish this off. As well as I have actually a few of these hearts that were part of the kit. So these cute little hearts were part of the kit. So maybe we'll sprinkle a couple of those around here as well. I really like these guys. This is one of my favorite embellishments that we've gotten in any of these kits, I think. I'm not into the twine or anything like that, so for me, like these cute little hearts are just adorable. All right. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good on that side. All right, so let's finish up this. We're going to just slide a little bit so you can see everything. We're going to finish up the right-hand side. And as you can tell, the embellishments is what took the most time. The other pieces are really straightforward. Because again, this is a really simple sketch. So we're going to just put the floating hearts down here. Just trying to make sure I'm lined up. We're going to take the 3/4 inch strip from the card base and we're going to line that up again right against the edge of that. And just to make sure we're lined up, we're just going to just double check here, and that looks good. That way we know the two pieces are actually lining up with each other, since it's supposed to look continuous. Okay, we're going to put our card base down. And then we take our 1/2 inch piece and add that to the top. And then again, let me just bring in the sketch so that you can see. So we've done this left-hand side, so now we're doing the right-hand side. So we've got a journaling block. We've got 2 photos. So you can play around with this. You can add more photos because you certainly have enough space if you wanted to do journaling here. Instead, you can, or journaling up here, you could have that be an option. So in this case, I want my 4x6, oops, I don't know what that was. Got a little bit of gunk on there. I gotta put my hearts down first. Sorry, got the hearts. So we're gonna start with the one that we cut. That way it's gonna look even more uniform because because the cut's going to match up versus starting with a new piece. So making sure that you're lined up here, and then you can line up that cut heart and lay that down. And there it is. I am going to go ahead and do the ink on this so that I can get this piece done. Here we go. So again, just taking the pen, running it along the edge here to add that gold border. It looks better now that it's done. Sometimes you've got to get the layout together before you can make a judgment on whether or not something is right. So because I've covered up a lot of that pink and a lot of that red at the bottom where this heart element is landing, and it will be the same on the other side, it's not clashing as much as I initially thought. So my original thought was right, but again, because I was looking at it without the other pieces, especially the photo placemats, I was feeling like the colors were clashing a bit. And it's not that I don't like this gold outline. I actually do like this. May not have been necessary, right? So sometimes that you need to step back, make sure that you've got your elements on your page, and then decide if something is working or not working. I do tend to walk away from layouts that I'm creating and leave them on my desk and come back to them because I can come back with fresher eyes on it. And since I'm not a massive content creator, I don't necessarily have deadlines that I've put on myself. Otherwise, you guys would have had a lot more videos from me over the last couple of months. But you know, life gets in the way, and I want to create and give you guys ideas, but I also don't want to make this feel like a burden either. And so that's why you see some spurts of creativity that happen, and that's because my schedule allows it. And then other times I might go a little bit quiet for a while as I'm trying to manage life. This thing we call life. So again, just adding this gold edging here. And then we can add the picture placeholders. And I'm going to definitely have to cut out some more hearts. I did not cut enough. So I'm going to have to go back and pull some more papers and do a bunch more cuts, I think. Again, I want it to feel full, but not overly full. I like a lot of white space actually on my layouts. I don't necessarily want to have a lot of busy papers or busy clusters on my layouts. That's not really my style. My style is much more simple and a lot more white space. I also don't tend to use a lot of colored bases on my layouts. Sometimes I do, but that's not typically. Typically, whenever I do a color, it feels heavier to me, and I don't necessarily like it as much. And so I do tend to lean towards the white bases as being more of my go-to because I do like that kind of lighter look, I guess, to my layouts. So, not that I haven't done it, but it's definitely not my go-to. All right, so let's go ahead and add these guys. And again, just butting them right up against each other. And they're probably going to have to cut this last one off as well. Yeah, we are. Okay. Oops, that looks a little crooked. Let's see if we can get that straighter. There we go. All right, so let's cut this off. Whoops. Forgot that those were not adhered down. Okay, so there we go. And now let's take a look at our photo placing. Okay, so we're going to do a 4x6 here, and then we've got a 3x3 here. And I am going to go ahead and pop these guys up as well. When you overlap photos, make sure that when you put your adhesive down, you don't put it where the photos are overlapping, especially if you don't have your photos right now, because you want to be able to slide your photo onto this placeholder. Now, in this case, you could make your photo a little bit smaller, and that way you have the white border if you feel like you need it for your photos. I do recommend that a lot of times, is just sizing down your photos just a little bit, or trimming them once you get them, and leaving the photo placeholder with as sort of your natural frame that you might put with a piece of cardstock. All right, so we're going to put this down again, very close to the top of those hearts and about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And then we're going to add, just double check where my top and bottom are here, so that I make sure I don't put adhesive down here, right? So it's going to overlap right there, so I want to move my adhesives. Double check that. I want to have my adhesive here and here, but I'm not going to have it on this corner where it's going to overlap that photo. Again, I'm putting a lot of dimensionals on because I'm going to put this in a page protector. This is going to go in a book, and it's going to have other pages laying against it. So I want to make sure that these, you know, if I'm going to take the time to put some dimension on the page, that it actually stays and shows. All right, so now the next thing that I'm going to look at is we're going to pull in some of these pieces that we have here that we've got left that I've already done. Oh, I did have these other hearts. I could maybe add these. I wonder, should I add those? Oh, that might work. Just have a couple of these here. Cool. Okay, so we added a little bit more gold there, ties in the gold there. Okay, so this one I have, again, the same paper that I used over here. I've got another one of those heart punch outs from the kit. Let's just see if there's another punch out that we might want to use. These are pretty big. No, I think I'm going to stick with kind of what the design, the stuff I already had. Okay, so then we've got these guys. Can overlay that one on that one. And then I need a few smaller hearts, it looks like. I'm still short a few small hearts. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get anything out of this paper. These punches are a really good use of these scrap pieces of paper, especially when you've got like little things that you're trying to create. If you can make it fit, you've got a great way to use up some of these scraps. Just have to sometimes maneuver things around to get it to fit into spot. Can I make that one work? All right, here's one more. I hadn't really used punches a lot late in my recent scrapbooking, so this is kind of a new thing for me to have punches. I was kind of afraid they would take up a lot of space in my craft room. Well, my craft space. I wouldn't really call it a room. Um, and they do kind of, but you know what? For things like this, it's actually been quite nice to have these punches available so that I can add these embellishments. Oops. The only thing is all the pieces tend to get caught. Got to be careful with that. So sorry this is taking me more time because I didn't get enough of these ready, but just grab a few more of these. And I might grab a couple more plaids. Okay, we're going to come over here and do one more over here. Okay. Good. All right. Ah, I've got a great little strip right here. Perfect. Let's grab a couple more of these. All right, we're going to stop there. We're going to see if that will work. Okay, so one of the things is that I've got the tag, and this I'm actually going to not pop up because I don't want, I'm going to have to write on this, and if I pop it up, then it's going to be problematic. So this I'm going to actually put down, and I'm going to, I think I'm going to put it right about there. I didn't put adhesive on this side because I knew I wanted to take this heart and I want to put it underneath it. So, got little pieces everywhere here. So let's get some adhesive on this guy. And we are almost done with this layout. All right. Okay. I think I'm going to take this piece as well. We're going to put that, again, it's something that I put on the left side of this layout, so I want to add it to the right side if I can. Really like those overlaid. Okay, and then maybe pop this guy up. We are coming to the end. Well, hopefully everyone has gotten a couple of ideas from this in using the paper pumpkin kit and how you might be able to transform it into a layout, or how you could take it, you know, take components of it that maybe are left over and use it for a layout that you're working on, because that's kind of one of the fun things about the paper pumpkin kits, is that you've got that ability to this one I think needs to be popped up. I think we're gonna pop this guy up. You can make cards with the paper pumpkin kit, but you can also transform these kits into other things, which is kind of one of the things that I've enjoyed. And even though, you know, it looks like it's a card, you can hide the majority of anything that was card-like about it as you're creating with it. So working with these pieces, again, a lot of the times I'm working with largest to smallest, and so that's important. Oh, we've got, does this one have an inside and an outside? No, it just has a frame on it. Okay, so we're going to think we're going to do that. Oh, this one has a frame. Maybe we'll take the frame off of that one. Like that. Okay, and then we can add some of these smaller ones. And then we're going to do another cluster over here. So I think we're going to save that guy. I think we're going to do this. And do this guy. Again, just to put some interest here at the top. We want to make sure that we have the eye kind of traveling. Like that. Let's see. I really want a bigger red heart, but I don't think I need a bigger piece of paper here. Let's see. I'm looking at my scraps to see if I can find something where I can get a bigger heart. Okay, perfect. Okay, and let's grab this guy. All right, so then we just have a few little guys to, actually I think what we'll do here is like that. Like that. And I feel like maybe we need another one here. Okay, and then we're going to grab our little fancy hearts and we're going to add some of those as well. I really like these little fancy hearts. I could buy a whole package of these, I think. All right. That's probably too many, but I like them. So there we go. All right, so the last thing I need to add is just the journaling blocks up here, but that is our layout. And again, like I said, I think I'm going to draw a black line around the outside, and we have a completed layout. So again, this was the sketch that I created, and this is how it ended up. So again, not exactly the exact same, but that's kind of how sketches work, right? They're a place to jump off from, and then you can take it whatever direction your photos need you to take them. And again, like I said, I'm not sure what my photos are going to be at this point, so I'm trying to keep it as neutral as possible, but obviously they are going to be Valentine's Day flowers and things, and so I think this is really a fun little layout, having the floating hearts. All right, everyone, I will post pictures of this, and sorry, everything is still crooked. And hopefully you enjoyed it, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Oh, thanks, Jane. That's really sweet of you. I'm glad you like the layout. Have a great evening, everyone.